It's the first Raw of the new year. Welcome to WWE RAW Day 1. And going into Starrcade, this man was the WWE Intercontinental Champion. As you see him coming out here, he is champion no longer, thanks to The Rock. But later this week, he will get a rematch against Jacob Fatu at SmackDown New Year's Revolution. Rollins says if it wasn't for The Rock, he'd still be Intercontinental Champion. But later this week, he'll fix that wrong, and he'll get back his Intercontinental belt. Then the focus turns to The Rock and doing everything in his power to bring the WWE title back and send The Rock packing. But tonight, he knows Kevin and Sami have a match against the Bloodline, and he's going to be in their corner to watch their back. Seth Rollins has been a target of the Bloodline, but now flipping it around and putting the target on them. In our opening match of the night, we're going to see Damian Priest with Finn Balor in his corner, taking on CM Punk. Punk with a huge night at Starrcade, knocking out Gunther inside of the fight pit. In the Judgment Day, we've kind of seen them on different pages over the last few weeks. Sometimes they're a cohesive unit, sometimes it's been a dysfunctional unit. Right now, looking like everything is going good for them. But when you're dealing with Finn Balor and Damian Priest, that could change at a moment's notice. With the Royal Rumble just around the corner, you got to think that all three of these guys look to factor into that one. At this point, we've got no announcements as to who's going to be in outside of Braun Breaker. We know last week on SmackDown, The Rock announcing that Braun Breaker will be in the Rumble and he will be entrant number 30. Remember, in both the men's and women's Rumbles, the WWE will get the final 4 spots, 27 through 30, from their win at Survivor Series. In both of the Rumbles, they have earned those spots there. So we know Breaker's in. We know he's number 30. But I would think that Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and CM Punk would be in the Rumble as well. Priest now dropping Punk down on that top turnbuckle. Delivers a big boot to the face. And now dropping the straps, which means Damian Priest means business. Punk, though, with a reversal. And now he drops Priest down on the top rope. Now looking to choke out Damian Priest, but not able to get him to tap. And just like he did at Starrcade, delivers a GTS. Hooks the leg. And CM Punk with the win. Priest doesn't look too happy. Now Balor coming in wanting to maybe show that he's not too happy, and Priest just shoves Finn Balor. We've seen Balor do the same. Things are not good right now in the Judgment Day. Next, we're going to see Io Sky. She will be in action against the man, Becky Lynch. Both of these ladies eyeing the upcoming Royal Rumble. But beyond that, eyeing what's ahead, WrestleMania. At Starrcade, the Bloodline not only added the Intercontinental Championship, they also added the WWE Women's Championship as Nia Jax defeated Ivy Nile to become the new WWE Women's Champion. And over on the WCW side, thanks to Jade Cargill, Raquel Rodriguez, still the WCW Women's Champion. So then you got to decide, do you stay, if you're one of these two women and you win the Royal Rumble, do you stay and go after Nia Jax and all that goes along with that, dealing with the Bloodline as a whole? Or do you maybe jump over to the WCW side? And yes, you've got Raquel Rodriguez in the LWO. And they're just as bad to deal with, but I don't think as worse than what you would deal with in dealing with The Rock and the Bloodline. Becky not willing to give up. But Becky, a former WCW Women's Champion, former WWE Women's Champion. Io, though, still looking for her first Women's Championship in the open mic universe. Manhandle slam from Becky Lynch. Hooks the leg. And Becky, your winner as she defeats Io Sky. It's main event time, and this one is going to be for the WWE Tag Team titles. The former champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who made their return last week on the final SmackDown heading into Starrcade. They came back and attacked Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. That was the first time we have seen Kevin and Sami since losing the WWE Tag Team titles before Survivor Series. But here tonight on the Day 1 edition of Raw, they get an opportunity to get back their tag team gold. Seth Rollins, like he let us know earlier in the show, in the corner of Kevin and Sami. Jacob Fatu accompanying Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa in their corner. Sami looking for a quick one there, but only gets a one. Tama Tonga fighting his way out. Again, we've seen with the Bloodline, they will take any and all shortcuts, and they will use their numbers, and when it comes to The Rock, his influence, to get what they want. We saw in the Intercontinental Championship match at Starrcade, the referee got knocked out. Rock takes advantage of that, gives Jacob Fatu a chair. He uses it on Seth Rollins. And now Rollins and Fatu face to face. Rollins shoves Jacob, and Jacob shoves Rollins. The referee has seen enough. He has sent both men back to the back. There's going to be no outside distraction or interference here. But we saw The Rock take advantage of the referee being down. They used the chair. And then in the end, Jacob Fatu goes for a cover on Seth Rollins and then uses the middle rope as some extra leverage. Gets the 3 count and walks out of Starrcade the new WWE Intercontinental Champion. We'll see the rematch later this week on the SmackDown New Year's Revolution show. Super kick from Owens. Now, where's Tama Tonga going? Tama Tonga's got a chair. And he uses it on Owens and then cracks it over his back. The Bloodline take the easy way out to retain. Keeping with the theme of New Year's inspired episodes, welcome to WCW NITRO New Year's Evil. And at Starrcade, the open mic universe got turned upside down. And maybe the biggest development to come out of Starrcade, we've got a new WCW World Champion, AJ Styles. AJ, who defeated Cody Rhodes in a no disqualification match, becoming WCW Champion for the 5th time, thanks to a little help from his friends. We saw the Monster Abyss show up and deliver a black hole slam to the American Nightmare. And that allowed AJ to roll up Cody and get the 1-2-3. We also saw Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson make their return and celebrate with their friend and the new champ as Starrcade went off the air. AJ says for 3 years he has been the ultimate team player. He's done what's best for WCW, but the more he gave, the more he was taken for granted. The more that people like Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were taken for granted with the ridiculous contract that they were offered. Or somebody like Abyss, who never got an opportunity because he's from LOL TNA. Well, he and his friends aren't waiting and they're not asking. They are going to take the respect that they are due. Strong words from the new WCW World Champion. Next, we've got a Cruiserweight qualifying match. We're going to see Dragon Lee taking on Ilya Dragunov. This is the first of 3 qualifying matches we're going to see over the next week. And then next week on Thunder, the 3 winners will meet in a triple threat match where the winner will move on to the Royal Rumble and challenge Santos Escobar for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. In this matchup, we've got Ilya Dragunov, the former Cruiserweight champion, who for months has been trying to get his championship back. And we have Dragon Lee, who's never held the Cruiserweight title, but is a former WCW television champ. He actually held that title for 11 consecutive months, with this match taking place at the Royal Rumble. The person who is lucky enough to win and earn the opportunity against Santos Escobar does miss out on the opportunity to be in the Royal Rumble. And as big of an opportunity as the Royal Rumble is, you got to think, weighing being one of 30 versus being 1 against 1 with a singles title on the line. I guess you could look at it with the old phrase, a bird in the hand is worth more than 2 in the bush. Maybe a guaranteed title opportunity versus a potential could be worth a little more to these cruiserweights. Dragon Lee with that knee exposed, delivering a knee to the head of Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov able to get his shoulder up. Now the Mad Dragon having some trouble getting to his feet. Delivers an elbow. Powerbomb to Dragon Lee. H-bomb delivered by Dragunov. Goes for the cover. And Ilya Dragunov punches his ticket to the #1 contender triple threat match next week on Thunder. Next, we're going to see Obafemi taking on Big Bronson Reed. Here are two guys ready for the Royal Rumble, ready for the opportunity to try to move their career up, find themselves in the main event and world title scene. Neither of these guys will be easy outs for the other competitors in the Royal Rumble. But the one thing that big men have found over the years when it comes to the Royal Rumble, you'll see some unlikely alliances as people work together to try to get the biggest competitors out of the ring. And it's really changed a lot over the years. You know, when it comes to battle royals, you know, guys like Andre the Giant, Big John Studd would be the no-brainer favorites in those style of matches, but not anymore. Here in recent history, we've seen that really the big guys in those Royal Rumbles and Battle Royals are kind of at a disadvantage because the smaller people in that match have learned that if you eliminate the big threat and get him out of the match, then that kind of evens the odds for everybody else. Because the last thing you want if you are a cruiserweight size guy, or even like a normal medium size or average size guy, if you're in there one-on-one with a guy the size of Bronson Reed or Obafemi or Omos, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get that big mass up and over the top rope. And so here again, in more recent times, the bigger athletes have a harder time in those type of matches. And Obafemi picks up the win and might have given himself a little bit of a momentum boost heading into the Royal Rumble. Next, we're going to see Sonya Deville. She will be taking on Rhea Ripley. Both of these ladies, former WCW Women's Champions. Both want to get back to WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1. Sonya was the WCW Women's Champion coming in. She would lose that championship to Tiffany Stratton, who won the Elimination Chamber match to earn her opportunity. And then last year at WrestleMania 2, Rhea Ripley, the WCW Women's Champion, was challenged by last year's Royal Rumble winner, Asuka. Rhea was successfully able to defend and retain. Big splash from Rhea off the top rope. Now clubbing the back of Sonya Deville. With so few spots on the WrestleMania card, even though it's a 2-night event, if you're not in that champion seat or the challenger seat, there's a good chance you may miss out on WrestleMania, and nobody wants to do that. Rhea delivering a headbutt, and that might do it. And it will. Rhea Ripley with the victory as she defeats Sonya Deville. Looks like we're not done yet. Whoa, man, LA Knight. We have not seen LA Knight since AJ Styles put him out of action before Survivor Series. That was actually the second time in the last few months that AJ Styles has injured LA Knight and put him on the shelf. The Megastar says, "Let me talk to you." He just met with WCW management and the doctors. Unfortunately, he will not be entering his name in this year's Royal Rumble. Oh, he'll still be there. You see, The Miz has been walking around with his Toys R Us TV title, claiming to be the champ. Well, tell you what, champ, bring your toy to the Royal Rumble. We'll take it and my real TV championship, hang it above the ring, have a ladder match just like Razor and HBK at WrestleMania 10. And AJ, don't think I forgot about you. Congrats, champ. Bring that WCW World title to Elimination Chamber, and I'll deal with you there. Welcome to WCW Thunder Final Resolution. Kicking things off here tonight, it's the WCW United States Champion, main event Jey Uso. Jey coming off a big win at Starrcade, he and R-Truth defeating the team of Despicable Ray and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. And now that Starrcade is in the rear view and the Royal Rumble just right around the corner, the Royal Rumble kind of presents an interesting path potentially for Jey Uso if he were to be the one to win the Men's Rumble match. On one side, you've got The Rock, the world champion over in WWE, the place that Jey came from. Remember, Jey at one time was the WWE World Champion. He got cashed in on by Ricochet, who was in WCW. Ricochet successfully cashed in, defeated Jey. When Ricochet came over to WWE, Jey replaced Ricochet on the WCW roster. But we know what The Rock has done to their family since he made his return. Since he won the World Championship from Jey's brother Jimmy. And since he's remade the Bloodline in his own image, you got to think that that would be a very appealing choice for Jey. But then you've got the WCW side. We've got a new WCW World Champion, AJ Styles. A guy that Jey teamed with at Survivor Series in the men's War Games match. And AJ, kind of like The Rock, is trying to reimagine what WCW is. And the way that AJ won the belt from another of Jey's buddies, Cody Rhodes. I would think that maybe the family component would play in a little bit more personally to Jey than what's going on with AJ and Cody in WCW. But you also got to think that things have gone great for Jey since he was sort of banished here in WCW. He's the WCW United States Champion. He is undefeated in singles matches since coming over to WCW at the beginning of August. But again, I got to think that maybe if Jay were the one to win the Rumble, I gotta think that he's probably gonna set his sights on The Rock. Maybe try to go back to the WWE, try to win back the WWE World Heavyweight Championship that he held for a very brief moment of time. And also look to avenge The Rock and what he's done to the family, and more importantly to his brother Jimmy. Jay with the victory this week against Austin Theory. Jey Uso, definitely somebody that a lot of people are going to have as their pick to win the Rumble. And if he does, it's going to be interesting to see what decision he makes. Next, we're going to hear from Bianca Belair. Starrcade, not a good night for Bianca, as her WCW Women's Championship opportunity was interrupted and taken away by the woman she thought was her good friend, Jade Cargill. The EST says not only was her championship opportunity stolen from her at Starrcade, but Jade threw away a friendship and a sisterhood, and she wants answers. She wants to know why. Well, I guess Bianca gonna get her wish. Jade says, friends? Sisters? Sisters don't hold each other down. Sisters don't steal opportunities from each other. I did what I did because I was tired of you taking opportunities away from me. Bianca says, well, here's an opportunity you're not going to miss, as she takes out Jade with the microphone. Oh, a spear to Jade Cargill. This is a side of Bianca Belair that we have not seen, but that just goes to show she has been pushed to the limit by the woman that she thought was a friend, a woman that she thought of as a sister. And look, let's be honest. Bianca never stole anything from Jade. The opportunities that Bianca Belair had were opportunities that she earned. All this really boils down to is jealousy. Jade is jealous of Bianca. Now the EST going out and getting herself a chair. This is probably not going to bode too well for Cargill. And Bianca blasting Jade Cargill in the head with that steel chair. Multiple chair shots, and now Bianca adding a little insult to injury. Jade may have cost Bianca her opportunity at Starrcade, but this new attitude we've seen here tonight from Bianca Belair, the women's division in WCW may need to be put on notice. Next, we're going to have another cruiserweight qualifying match. This one between JD McDonough and Wes Lee. This is the second of 3 qualifying matches. We saw our first qualifier earlier this week on Nitro. Ilya Dragunov defeated Dragon Lee. We'll have one more on Nitro next week, and then we will have a triple threat between the 3 winners. The winner of that triple threat next week on Thunder will move on to the Royal Rumble and take on Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight Championship. And Wes Lee not wasting any time. And Wes Lee, in what I would call an upset, is moving on to Thunder next week and joining Ilya Dragunov in the triple threat #1 contenders match. Here comes the former WCW World Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And I gotta admit, it's a little strange not seeing Cody with that big gold belt, that WCW World Heavyweight Championship. AJ Styles, the new champion. Thanks to some help from the Monster Abyss. We don't know what that means, Abyss. Is he here in WCW? Was that a one-time appearance by him? We got very vague answers from AJ earlier this week on Nitro. I'm assuming we're going to hear from Cody here tonight. It is kind of strange we don't see him in his signature suit. He does look dressed for a match, but we don't have a match on the schedule here for him. It's going to be interesting to see where Cody goes from here. For those wondering why there's not a rematch with AJ, because that match at Starrcade was a rematch from Halloween Havoc, there was wording in the contract that did not offer a rematch opportunity for Cody Rhodes. Cody says, "Congratulations to AJ Styles. You got one over on me, and you took advantage of the match stipulation, and now you're the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. And since there's not a rematch opportunity for me, I'm going to do things the old-fashioned way, and I am announcing that I will be entering this year's Royal Rumble. But here tonight, I want a match against anybody in the back that thinks that they will be the ones to win this year's Royal Rumble. Who is going to answer Cody's challenge here tonight? Woo! Oh boy. The Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. Hey, you got to respect the heart of Cody Rhodes. But you also got to wonder, is this really the best move? It's been an emotional week. You lost the WCW World Championship. And in a way that it wasn't just a straight up loss. There were outside factors that contributed to Cody Rhodes no longer being world champion. But he came out, he announced himself for the Royal Rumble. Maybe it would have been best just to leave it at that. The Rumble is less than 2 weeks away. Take that time to get your body right, to get your mind right for what you're about to endure in the Royal Rumble, especially if you have plans to try to win it. McIntyre now turning the tables and now in control here. Double arm DDT. And the Scottish psychopath with his signature 3-count Claymore. Drew hooks Cody's leg. And that will do it. Drew McIntyre with the win. And the week keeps getting worse for Cody Rhodes. You gotta wonder what this is gonna do to the American Nightmare as he gets ready to head to the Royal Rumble. It's the final show of New Year's week here in the Open Mic universe. Welcome to WWE SmackDown New Year's Revolution. And getting us started here tonight, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the High Chief of the Bloodline, and the final boss, The Rock. And coming out of Starrcade, you got to think The Rock is very pleased, very happy with what went down as Nia Jax, the new WWE Women's Champion, Jacob Fatu, the new WWE Intercontinental Champion. We'll see what happens here tonight. Our main event, a rematch from Starrcade. Jacob Fatu will put that Intercontinental title up against the former champ, Seth freaking Rollins, the Samoan Werewolf, aided in his victory by The Rock. The referee was knocked unconscious in the middle of that match. Rock handed Jacob a chair, which he used on Rollins. And then at the end of the match, Fatu would use the middle rope for some extra leverage as he would get the 1-2-3 on Seth Rollins. The Rock says it's a new year, and he wanted to come out and celebrate on his show, SmackDown, and kick off the festivities here tonight. Says, as far as Starrcade goes, the Bloodline did exactly what they've done for months, and that's collect belts. For tonight's main event, he's got a spoiler for the open mic universe. Seth Rollins is not walking out with the Intercontinental Championship, and he might not walk out of SmackDown at all. There's one thing we've learned over the last handful of months. Take The Rock at his word. Our opening match of the night, we're going to see Zelina Vega taking on Chelsea Green. Both of these ladies gearing up for the Royal Rumble. Let's not forget, because they are on the WWE roster and for what WWE did at Survivor Series, the final four entrants in both Rumbles will come from the WWE side. And so a little bit of added boost potentially for the ladies on the WWE roster. Vega only gets a 2 there. Here we got two ladies that also looking for their first championships in the open mic universe. We do have a new WWE Women's Champion, Nia Jax. So for whoever wins the Rumble, you got to think that might not be the wisest direction to go, being as though she is in the Bloodline. She has the full backing of The Rock. And as we're seeing right now going on, what happened at Starrcade, what could potentially go on tonight in our main event with Seth Rollins, anybody who challenges the Bloodline in any way seems to get the full force of the Bloodline all over them. Chelsea and Zelina exchanging blows here. Jumping leg lariat. Chelsea with the cover. And Chelsea Green with the win as she defeats Zelina Vega here at SmackDown New Year's Revolution. Next, we're going to see the Celtic Warrior Sheamus as he goes one-on-one with the Viper Randy Orton. Now, there is a lot of history between these two. They have been friends. They have been foes. They have been bitter rivals. Here in more recent times, they have been friends. They were actually teammates back at Survivor Series on one of the teams that represented WWE in the traditional Survivor Series elimination tag matches. But it's Royal Rumble season, and when it comes to the Royal Rumble, your friendships go out the window. Your alliances go out the window. It's every man for himself. And there's going to be times in that Rumble, especially you look at these two guys, veterans. They have done everything in this business. Both former world champions here in the open mic universe. Both former Royal Rumble winners in an alternate universe. And if you want to win the Royal Rumble, if you want to move on to WrestleMania and challenge for the championship of your choice, you've got to be willing to do whatever it takes. And if that means throwing out your best friend to do it, then that's what needs to happen. And again, two veterans here that have been through this before. And here in this match, they're, after this one's done, I'm sure that Sheamus and Randy will probably maybe go and share some pints. But you better believe in this one, both of these men want to win this match. Both of these men want to go into the Royal Rumble and win the Royal Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania. RKO from the Viper. And Randy Orton picking up the win as he defeats Sheamus. It is time for our main event. The new WWE Intercontinental Champion, Jacob Fatu, being accompanied by the High Chief of the Bloodline, the final boss, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, The Rock. His opponent, the man that is the former WWE Intercontinental Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. And you gotta wonder if the referee doesn't get knocked unconscious in that match at Starrcade, if The Rock isn't at ringside in Jacob Fatu's corner, if The Rock doesn't slide a chair in to Jacob, if Jacob doesn't use the ropes as extra leverage to get the 3 count. There's a good possibility, as crazy, as mean, and as tough as Jacob Fatu is, there's a very good chance Seth freaking Rollins is still the Intercontinental Champion. We've talked about it many times on a lot of these episodes. We're in year 3. If I were to look back at year 2, to me, the MVP on the WWE side, even though he was never a world champion in that time, Seth freaking Rollins. Year 3 at SummerSlam, defeats Braun Breaker, becomes the new Intercontinental Champion. And really, since that time, raised the profile of the Intercontinental Championship, if that was even really possible. Because there's such a history with the Intercontinental title. Rollins moves out of the way as Fatu goes through the ropes. But it felt like every week Rollins, with his Intercontinental Open Challenge, was giving opportunities to anybody. Guys that have been in the universe and in the locker room since day one. New people coming in. The Rock grabbing Seth Rollins' leg, and Jacob Fatu able to capitalize as he blindsides Rollins from behind. And again, this is what we come to expect from the Bloodline. Regardless of what happens in the ring, The Rock is going to influence these matches as Fatu goes through the middle rope. And now he clears the commentary desk. And this could be bad news for Seth freaking Rollins as he eats a headbutt from the Samoan Werewolf. Fatu gets Rollins up. Kick to the midsection. power bomb down on the ringside mat. There is no movement from Seth Rollins. He may be out cold. As Jacob slides back in. And that's going to do it. It's going to be a count out. Jacob Fatu retains. Thanks to a hand from The Rock, literally. Look, I don't know who is going to finally stand up to The Rock, stand up to the Bloodline. But whoever it's going to be needs to do it soon.